I welcome all the delegates in this meeting. And today our speaker is Mr. Ved Jain. He is the past president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and he is a leading advocate in Delhi as well as appearing before various high courts and the Supreme Court. And in regard to reassessment matters, he has a very specialization. He has led the case before Supreme Court, Ashish Agarwal, and now presently another matter is going on regarding validity of the notices. That matter is also, he has been there. He has argued the matter before the Supreme Court. So he has a very deep knowledge about the subject, particularly the reassessment and block reassessments, etc. This is why we had requested Mr. Ved Jain to highlight the basic changes which are there in the budget and guide all the members about the subject and what are the changes, how they are impacting the persons and all that, and what will be the implications. So thank you very much. I welcome Ved Jain ji. I am grateful to him for accepting this invitation, for being the guest speaker today. So I request Ved Jain ji. I request firstly Mr. N.P. Jain to give his opening remarks, and then I request Mr. Ved Jain. Mr. N.P. Jain.
Thank you, VP Gupta ji. And we are fortunate to have today among us respected CA Ved Jain sir with us to address us on this very important topic, that is reassessment, the new procedure. Many changes have taken place, and also on the reincarnation of the block assessment procedure. And for the members of the fraternity, chartered accountant and advocates, what implications are likely to arise and how they should handle it. I would request your good self to kindly deal with those also, so that, because you see, I would like that the members of AIFTP, our fraternity, they deal all the matters of the clients in an efficient manner, and at the same time, it is always my desire that their income should be doubled in a year. So sir, with the kind guidance of CA Ved Jain Sahab, I think they will be able to achieve this object. We did not, you see, there are about 80 to 100 amendments every year. So, in fact, the government finance minister is very kind to the professionals, that they give us the opportunity to understand and interpret and then represent before the department in the courts. On the specific subject of the reassessment and various sections which have been substituted, and also block assessment, I will not speak anything, because we are all eager to listen from CA Ved Jain sahab, and then at the end, if the time will permit, we will have some small questions if the audience has got anything. I don't think there will be any scope for making any question, because he will explain it so well that everybody will be able to understand well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ved Jain ji. Please take over.
Thank you, Gupta ji. Thank you, Jain Sahab, the National President of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. And it's my privilege to be part of this program and to share my views on this recent amendment which has been brought by the Finance Bill now, of course, passed by the Parliament, but still to be notified on the topics of reassessment and the block assessment, which concept has been now totally revamped in the finance this budget 2024. As Jain Sahab rightly said, the finance minister years after years present her budget. Normally it is in the month of February, but in the election year being interim budget and thereafter the final budget. And she makes sure that we tax practitioners get sufficient material to talk about, to speak about. And every finance bill has at least more than 100 provision for we people to apply our mind, to read, study, and then to discuss and deliberate in program like this only. And I always say that finance minister's job is to provide opportunity to everyone, job opportunity, and she cannot miss out the professional advocate, chartered accountant, that their job is also secured, so that she makes amendment years after years. So those chartered accountant, advocate, they remain busy, the client remain busy, the taxpayer remain busy, and of course, all we people will do seminar, we remain busy on that part of the issue. And on that part, like in somewhere in lighter vein, normally I say in my budget deliberations that what would happen sometime in case the finance minister, while presenting her budget, and when she says, "Honorable Speaker, sir, now I present my budget," and then she talks about various proposals, scheme, grant, irrigation, farmers, banking, service sector, everything, etc. And she says, "Now I turn to my part B, tax proposal." And she makes an announcement that we have been making amendment years after years in income tax and other tax laws. And this year I have decided not to make any amendment. What would have happened to this type of program, etc.? Then the introduction would have been given by Gupta ji and then the Honorable President. And then I would have said that since Finance Minister has not made any amendment, I have nothing to say. Let's go back to the studio. No match could be played because of the rain. So that can't happen because the Finance Minister, then she will fail in her job to give opportunity and job to us. So she need to make sure that is. And this Finance Bill 2024 is not an exception. And the one most important aspect of this bill is all those old provisions have been brought back, which were discarded earlier by reasons and explanation which are exactly the same when they were introduced. This is the beauty of this budget 2024. And I say, as is in the case of a fashion, that you have some clothes, you have some style and design which gets outdated over a period. Some people at one particular time used to wear very loose clothes, pant size 18 inches, 20 inches, 24, and all of a sudden it becomes too tight, no skin ties. And now same thing has happened in the income tax. Those provisions which we used to read in way back in 90s and early 2000, now all will become relevant, and all new provisions which were introduced post 2000, they will all become redundant. This is the beauty of this Finance Bill 2024. Now, to start with the reassessment, because that's a first part of the issue. As we know that in 2021, when the COVID was on, a large-scale change was made in the reassessment procedures. And one of the explanations given was that with the digitization, with the computerization, online information being available, the department is able to capture the data very quickly, and it is all information-driven. And that's why we want to remove the discretion available to the assessing officer for recording the reason. Now it will be any information which suggests that income has escaped assessment. So it has to be a system driven rather than anything else on that part. And then it said that all along we have been following GK and tribe share, but that we have been following mainly because of the Supreme Court directive. That before you finalize it, you must give the reason, and after the reasons are given, let the assessee file an objection, and thereafter you dispose of the objection. But in all those cases, 148 used to be issued before assessee used to file the objection. So meaning thereby, the assessing officer would have made up his mind earlier, and thereafter there used to be objection, and then he is duty bound to reject those objections because he has already made up his mind. Now, in order to address that grievance, in 2021, a scheme was introduced that now assessing officer will first make an inquiry on the basis of the information received by him. In case he needs so, thereafter he will issue a show cause notice to you asking for your explanation. Then the assessee will file a reply. That reply will be considered, and thereafter he will pass his speaking order. And in all these four stages, prior approval was the concerned person was required. In the period which was up to 6 years earlier was extended. Somewhere it was reduced to 3 years, and in some cases it was extended to 10 years. But with a clause that this will be applicable prospectively, that it will be applicable from assessment year 21-22 onward. Any reopening before that will be restricted to 6 years. This was in principle-based amendment which was carried out. And now what has been done? Within a period of 3 years, now 1st April 21, that law was applicable. Now from 1st September 2024, now it is proposed that this period is being further reduced, and no reassessment can be reopened after a period of 5 years from the end of the relevant assessment year. And there are two parts which have been made out on that issue. There are two parts which have been divided on that part on this issue. Now, 3 years and 5 years. So 5 years is the maximum period in which the assessment can be reopened. Beyond 5 year, end of the 5-year assessment year, assessment under no circumstances can be reopened. That's a now amendment which has been made on that basis. And this has also been divided into two parts. One, up to 3 years, no condition. In case there is information, income has escaped assessment, it can be 1,000 rupees, it can be 5 lakh rupees, it can be 5 crore rupees, no issue. But after a period of 3 years, it is based on the information which is available with the assessing officer, and income escaping assessment allegation should be at least 50 lakhs or more. That's the provision. And for understanding that, I would just like to show you the slide which is there. Gupta ji, can you allow me to share the screen, please?
Yes, sir. You can share your course, sir.
Yes, please.
Please.
Yes, you are.
This screen.
You can share.
I just want to show some of the.
Yeah, you can share.
Then I think member will be in a much better position to understand the point which is important.
Yes, you can share now.
No, it is not enabled yet. You have to go to the security and then allow share screen.
Ravi, देखो जरा, करो जरा.
Sir, your course, you can share your screen.
I can do it. Oh, yeah, I can do it. I can do it now. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're a host, I believe you have to do it now. Share screen, sorry. Hello, participant. Yeah. Can you go to page?
आगे.
आगे. PDF page 54. Now this is the provision which will be relevant for our understanding. Now this is the I hope you are able to see the screen.
Yeah, that's right.
Now this is the change which has been enacted with. I'm on the time. If you see section 149, no notice under section 148 shall be issued for the relevant assessment year if 3 years and 3 months have elapsed from the end of the relevant assessment year. This is regarding 3 years, 3 months is only for giving 3 months for the purpose of verification. So period is 3 years. So 148 notice cannot be issued after a period of 3 years and 3 months. Meaning thereby 148, if you come below downstairs, here say no notice to show cause under section 148 shall be issued if 3 years have elapsed from the end of the relevant assessment year, and if 3 years but not more than 5 years elapsed from the end of the relevant assessment year, unless the income chargeable to tax has escaped assessment, which is as per the information available to the assessing officer, amount to 50 lakh rupees or more. So meaning thereby 148A notice can be issued within a period not more beyond 3 years, and then assessing officer should have information in possession that income escaping assessment is 50 lakh or more. But interesting part is 149, 148 notice. Here the language has been changed. If 3 years, meaning thereby, now take a case of assessment year, say 1920. 1920, 5 years will elapse on 25. So 148A notice cannot be issued after 31st March 25 because 5 years will be having elapsed on that part. And now as against this language says, if 3 years and 3 months and not more than 5 years have passed, elapsed from the end of the relevant assessment year, unless assessing officer has in his possession books of accounts or other document or evidence. Now these are the words which has been changed related to any asset, any expenditure, transaction, entries which shows that income chargeable to has escaped assessment has escaped. Escaped assessment is 50 lakh or more. Now what I want to show from the screen was that the issue of 50 lakh or more is beyond 3 years, and beyond 5 years it cannot be opened under any circumstances. But now the information on the basis which assessing officer has, now he says it is related to any asset. This has been changed from the earlier meaning position where as it is belong asset has, then it has been changed another word which show it is reveals. Now I believe beyond 3 years assessment can be reopened where allegation is 50 lakh or more, simply stated. Because entries or transaction is such a word which you can relate and correlate with any person at any point of time. So that is the objective now it is. But one thing good which will happen is this new amendment is coming into effect from 1st September 2024, which is just 15 days away from today. And that being the case, on 1st September 2024, assessment year 18-19 will become barred by limitation. So no assessment before 18-19 can be reopened after 1st September 2024. So no 148 notice on that. There was a news item in the press that department is trying to issue assessment notice for 18-19 before 31st August so as to cover up the limitation period. But I am of the view that these notices issued today will also not be valid, because the section 152 clearly says that notice which will be saved as on 1st September 24 will be those where 148 notice have been issued. Now, even today, assessing officer intend to initiate 18-19, he has to first issue 148 AB notice. And if he issue today 148 AB notice, he need to give at least 7 to 10 days to the assessor to reply. And then unless he passes an order under section 148 before 31st August 2024, he will not be in a position to issue 148 notice. And if he is not able to issue 148 notice on 1st September 2024, the proceeding will become barred by limitation. So that is the change which is going to happen. And I believe it is a big change. The mindset has been totally changed. Earlier, what was there earlier and what is earlier? Earlier, it was proposed to be changed to 5 to 10 years, but now it has been suddenly reduced from 10 to 5 years. Another important change is, which may not be good for, I think, is now approval for it will be required only from joint commissioner or additional commissioners. So meaning thereby now assessing officer will be no approval from principal commissioner or the chief commissioner, etc. And in case a notice has to be issued beyond a period of 3 years, then approval will be required of joint commissioner or additional commissioner, which I believe is going to create a problem, because assessing officer at a whims and fancy will be issuing the 148 notices for any point, any issue arising. And with the definition of income escaping assessment having been widened so much, it will be very, very easy for assessing officer to make an allegation where the income has escaped assessment and to issue 148 notice. But another important aspect is that as against the earlier provision where aggregation of income was allowed, meaning thereby in case in the period beyond 3 years, if 1 year there is 30 lakh, another year is another 25 lakh rupees, though each of the year 50 lakh was not exceeding, but aggregate was 55 lakh rupees. Or where a series of transactions was there and the series spread over a number of years and the aggregate of that transaction happened to be 50 lakh or more, assessment could still have been opened. But under the new law, there is no such aggregation is being done. Meaning thereby, assessing officer has to fulfill the condition of 50 lakh each year. He has to comply with these conditions, that he must have the income escaping assessment should exceed 50 lakh rupees in each of the year on that part. That's the law which has been made on the part of the income authorization. Such assessment which used to be under section 148 because of the amendment made with the Finance Act 2021 have been taken out. Now such assessment will not be part of the reassessment. For that, a separate procedure has been made it out, and that assessing officer now instead of doing this 148 will be doing the block assessment, which I will talk later on after completing this 148 part. And this will be applicable from in respect of search carried out on or after 1st September 2024. meaning thereby all searches which have been carried out before 1st September 24, they will continue to be governed by the old provision, old section 148, which was there, but after 1st September 2024, they will continue to be governed. Meaning thereby, now if I take a meaning implication of this, say a search has been carried out in say July 24 or say in 23 or 22 or whatever it is. In that case, 148 notice for different assessment year, because the law now mandate that you can issue 148 notice for different assessment year at different point of time. In the case of a search person and person other than the search person, both, their proceeding will continue under the old law. Meaning thereby, even after 1st September 2024, in respect of the searches carried out on or before 1st September 24, in the case of search person, person other than the search person, in both cases, 148 old provision, that is 21 provision, that provision which are applicable at the origin date, they will continue to be operate on that part of them. Now, what will be the procedure under the now new law? Now, procedure is being simplified, but I will say it is too much liberty to given to the assessing officer. As I said in the beginning, when 21 amendment was made, bringing GK and drive shaft, there were 4 steps. Assessing officer to make inquiry. That inquiry could have been made only after obtaining approval from the principal commissioner or commissioner, where the case may be. Then after that inquiry, he was supposed to issue a notice. That notice was also to be issued with approval. Then after that, receiving the reply, he has to pass an order. That was also with the approval of the commissioner, principal commissioner, and then 148 notice was also with the commissioner. Now, these 4 steps, 148 A, B, C, D, are being converted into 3 parts: 148A1, 148A2, 148A3. A1, assessing officer, when he has information which suggests income escaping assessment, without any approval, anyone, he can straight away issue a show cause to you that why your income should not be, 148 notice should not be issued to you. But with only one condition, that now assessing officer will be required to provide all material and information which he has in his possession, on the basis of which he is making an allegation that income has escaped assessment. So this is an obligation which has been put in section 148A1, and assessing officer thereafter will give a time to you that to file a reply. Then assessing is duty bound to hearing, you will given, but hearing means you have to file a reply to that, and your reply should be comprehensive. He will consider the reply, that is 148A2, and thereafter considering the reply within 148A3, he will pass an order, and that order has to be passed with the approval of the commissioner or a joint commissioner, and then on the basis there he will decide that it is a fit case or it is not a fit case for issue of 148 notice. These are the 3 steps, and I believe nowhere here any time period and relaxation has been given. Only one thing which can be noticed from 149(1), that period of 3 months has been given, extended period of 3 months has been given to carry out this exercise. So assuming, meaning thereby, that this exercise has to be completed by the assessing officer within a period of 3 months, meaning thereby, for assessment, if I take a case of assessment year 1920, this 5-year period will be completing on 31st March 25. So in that case, assessing officer has to issue a 148A notice, a notice before 31st March 25. And if he issues a notice before 31st March 25, then he has to complete this exercise by 30th June 2025, so that the period of 3 years, 3 months for issue of 148 notice shall expire on 30th June 2025. Under no circumstances this period get extended. So meaning thereby, this 3 months window has been given to him. He can issue before also, but beyond 30th June 2025, he will not be in a position to go in case of assessment year 1920. Having decided whether it is a fit case or to issue 148 notice, then he will issue a notice to you to asking you to file the return of income. The time period maximum, now presently minimum period is 3 months. Now this period is not 3 months, now it's a maximum period 3 months. He will give you 7 days, 10 days, 15 days or 1 month to file the return or extended period. but it cannot be more than 90 days. And within that, you have to file the return. And in case you do not file the return in time, then you will not be, that return will not be considered to be a return under section 139, with a consequence that no 143(2) notice will be required to be issued. I believe we are all aware that for 143(2) notice applies only when a return has been filed, but there have been cases where belated return also the court has held that no 143(2) notices are must. But in the now the law mandate that once a period has gone, then one will not be entitled to file the return of income. Will be entitled to file the return of income, but 143(2) requirement will cease to apply on that part. So these are the changes which have been made for the purpose of what we call is a overall scheme which has been made in the regarding the reassessment proceeding. So if I take it and summarize in the manner that what has been done in reassessment, the biggest change is the reduction in the period from 10 years to 5 years. The change is that now approval will be from joint commissioner. So in order to remove confusion till whosoever there, though this is, I believe, against the policy laid down by the then finance minister in 2021, when she said beyond 3 years it can be with the highest authority and approval. Now I believe at a drop of hat 148 notices are concerned. As I see now 143(2) notice time period having been reduced to 3 months from the end of the assessment year, I think department or CBD that doesn't want to issue regular notice, they will be more resorting, and they are resorting more to reassessment. So one can expect that scrutiny is not limited to 3 months from the end of the assessment year. Scrutiny can go up to 3 years from the end of the relevant assessment year. As I can see, in almost in all cases where assessment is big, some information here or there will travel, and on that basis assessment can be opened. Beyond 3 years, if it is 50 lakhs or more, as I see the definition which has been given for the purpose of what on the basis of which assessing officer can make say the information and the restriction which plays, I am frankly of the view that this definition is too wide. In case you say any entries or transaction, then everything gets covered up. So the only difference which I can see before 3 years or beyond 3 years up to 5 years is only the quantum of income and nothing else. One thing important which you noticed when I was showing the screen was for issuing 148 notice, 148A inquiry notice, then this is not the condition that it can be issued when there is information relating to any asset, income or expenditure, something like this. It is only when issuing a 148 notice, then he has to make sure that he has an asset. So what he can do is assessing officer, he can issue a notice to you that this is a material I am having where income is more than 50 lakh as escaped assessment. And then after taking a reply, then in the reasons, in the order passing 148A3, he has to record that income more than 50 lakh has exceeded, and this income is not in the form of represented, is relatable to an asset, earlier was represented by an asset, or it is relatable to a transaction or an entry which shows that income has escaped, assessment is 50 lakh or more. Friend, this is a nutshell on the reassessment. Now I can switch over to the block assessment concept. Here is the important change. Some of my old colleagues which qualified before, I believe, 90s or maybe before 2000, they may be aware that till 1995, there was no difference of assessment or reassessment in respect of regular assessment and the search cases. All used to be done under section 148. They were all part of doing 148. But later on in July 95, I think when budget of 1995 was presented by the then Finance Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, he has come out with a concept of a block assessment. He suggested that each year assessment where income is spread over a different years, and then there are issues how to compute the income, same transaction pertaining to more than 1 year, assessing officer completing assessment of each year, taking different view, different stand in 1 year and in another assessment year. So he said, I want to bring block assessment concept, which is cost effective, efficient, and expeditious to settle the dispute. This scheme was given a go-by in the year 2003, and the reason being said that this scheme has failed to achieve its objective because there are a lot of litigation happening and it is not proving to be cost effective, and it is still continuing to be giving a teething problem. And then we all know we brought 153A, 153C. In 2001, that scheme was given a go-by, again saying that this has failed to achieve the objective. In 2024, that scheme is being given a go-by. And if you read the reason for introducing back the scheme of block assessment, the explanation given verbatim read the same what was given by Dr. Manmohan Singh in the February 1995. It is a verbatim same if you see the reason which has been given by the finance minister in her budget speech in the memorandum also. For the sake of time, because our time is up to 6:15, so I just will come to rush through this provision, and then of course in case some questions are there, I will just do it. So this is a concept of a block assessment which is being introduced. This will be applicable in respect of search carried out on or after 1st September 2024. I must say it is absolutely an amnesty scheme. It's better than the settlement commission scheme. I always say a person is not so lucky that he gets searched, but a person will definitely be fortunate if his search is carried out after 1st September. Though he is unlucky the search is being carried out, but still he will be lucky that his search is carried out after 1st September 2024, as I will tell you the provision which are there. Now, one thing. Presently, as we know, 153A, 153C or 148 in the existing regime also, in such cases, it can be 10 assessment year preceding the search year. Now, here in the case, it will be 6 year preceding the search year. Meaning thereby, in the year in which search is carried out and 6 year behind it, that will be the only year. They will be considered as a part of a block assessment. Now, for the purpose of understanding block period, what is the block period? Take a person is unlucky that he gets searched out on 10th September 2024 and his search is concluded. His search is concluded on, say, 30th September 2024. So search period will be this current year, 1st April to 30th September 2024, because that the search has been concluded on that period. And then 6 assessment year preceding that year, meaning thereby one can go only up to assessment year 1920, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This will be the block concept. But there is another challenge. This 6 plus can be 7 plus, because the block period, though it says it will be from the date when the search is initiated, but it goes up to the date when the search is concluded. So in a case where a search has been initiated, say on the month of March, 10th March 2025, and one of the locker is sealed, and that locker gets opened, or one of the premises or warehouse or premises sealed, and that search is concluded and Panchanama is finalized somewhere in April 25. In that case, the 6th assessment year will be counted first before the initiation. Initiation is 10th March. So 6th preceding year will be again starting before 1st April. But the search year will be counted from 1st April to 10th of April. That will be the part of this issue. This is the change which has been affected. This is the change. This is the big relief which has been given. Second part, undisclosed income has been defined, but the definition is too wide. It is not limited to the definition which was originally in 1995. Everything, whatever is possible, will be included as a part of an undisclosed income. If you read the definition, for the sake of brevity and the time, I am not going to just share screen, though I have a presentation where I can show you what is the meaning of the undisclosed. I will just in a minute, I will show you that small part. This is, can you see this definition of undisclosed income? Gupta ji, can you see, Jain sahab?
Yes, it is clear.
Undisclosed income include any money, bullion, jewelry, or undisclosed or other valuable article or thing, or any expenditure. This is the definition. Or any income based on any entry in the books of accounts or other document or transaction where such money, bullion, jewelry, valuable article, thing, entry in the books of account or other document or transaction represent wholly or partly income or property which has not been or would not have been disclosed for the purpose of this act, or any expense. This word exemption has been added now when the bill was being passed on 7th August. Or any expense, exemption, deduction or allowance claimed under this act which is found to be incorrect. These were the what earlier the word was false when 1995 in respect of the block period. Now this is the definition. I pose a question to anyone. Can we find any transaction which can go out of this? When I look into or any income based on any entry in the books of account or other document or transaction, if I say if this is entry in the books of account document, then everything goes and gets included in undisclosed income. And surprisingly, for computation of undisclosed income, the assessing officer definition which has been given is much wider. And this is the definition. Now, if you read this, subclass 2, the undisclosed income falling under the within the block period, forming part of the total income referred to in shall be computed in accordance with the provision of this act. Whatever is pink, this means that this was not there earlier when the act was passed. Old act. On the basis of the evidence found as a result of search or survey or requisition of books of account or other document and any other material or information as are either available with the assessing officer or come to his notice during the course of proceeding under this chapter. Meaning thereby now undisclosed income need not be necessarily related to the what you discovered in the search. It can go beyond because it gives a definition empowering the assessing officer any such other material or information as are either available with the assessing officer or come to his notice during the course of proceeding under this chapter. Earlier the definition, as you can see, the blue part was and relatable to such evidence. This has been deleted. So now meaning thereby this definition of undisclosed income will include everything. Now what happens? A search has been carried out, period has been described, and undisclosed income has been worked out. The moment search is carried out, any pending assessment which fall within block period will get abated. That assessment will come to an end. Even any reference is made to TPO, that will also come to an end. Assessing officer thereafter will issue a notice to you to file a return of the block period. Return will be of 6 years plus the search year, and search year will not be the full year. It will be from the first day of April till the date of conclusion of the search. That period return will be required. You will be required to disclose in that return, one, where your assessment has been made of any assessment year, that income assessed for that year, where income has not been assessed or return has been filed, in the income declared in that return. Income which is as per books of account recorded of the search year, that is means from 1st April till the date of the search, you will be required to compute that income also. And the additional income which you want to disclose, this is the biggest option, meaning thereby assessing himself can compute undisclosed income whichever is found during the course of the search, and on that basis he will file the return. He will pay 60% ticket tax. Once return filed, it cannot be revised. On that basis, that 60% tax has been paid. No interest under section 234A, no interest under 234B, no interest under section 234C. Presently, no surcharge. Presently, 115BB apparently not applicable on that part. Thereafter, assessing officer will take the case scrutinize. He will then assess the income total again. He will include all this income, whatever declared, whatever you would disclose, return pending, whatever you have disclosed, and then he will compute the income. Where whatever you have disclosed, that chapter get closed in case you have paid 60% tax. No penalty for concealment, no penalty for cash transaction, no penalty for loan taken, no penalty for loan repaid in cash, no 115BB provision, no penalty for falsification of the books of account, no interest payable. Interest is payable at the rate of 1.5% in case you don't file the return in time in response to block return up to the date of assessment. And you need not, you do not file an appeal against it. But you will be entitled to file appeal where assessing officer has made addition over and above what you have disclosed. That's why I say the entire scheme of the block assessment is just like a settlement. You just work out post-search what is your correct income on the basis of number 2 account, etc. you find, and then you declare it and then you file it. So this is the overall, whatever is the concept on that part. All penalty waived, everything waived on that part. Whatever you have not disclosed but assessing officer made addition, you have a right to go in appeal. In that case, you go in appeal, whatever will be the outcome in the appeal. If you lose that case, then penalty at the rate of 50% on that will be leviable. Meaning thereby, in that case, 60% is the normal tax and then 30% being 50% of tax, 90% of the income which get assessed undisclosed income you pay to tax. There is no other penalty which is there, etc., waiver, etc. So this is the mechanism which has been worked out for the block assessment. In respect of the person other than the search person, same thing will apply. In case the assessing officer is of the view that the undisclosed income found during the course of the search, being money, bullion, jewelry or entry, etc., belong to person other than the search person, then notice under section 158 BD will be issued to the other person, and his assessment will also be for a block period, which will be exactly the same block period. Date of search will be exactly the same date of search, which is the actual date of search, no postponement. All pending assessment in that case will also get abated. He will be required to file the block return. He will have the same option that he can declare the income, pay taxes and get out of it. But there is no threshold, meaning thereby even 10,000 rupees entry in any year is found, then block assessment has to be made of other person also. He has to pass that rigmarole of getting all assessment on this part. An assessing officer will have the right, as I can see from the definition of undisclosed income, and the right of the assessing officer to compute undisclosed income, that he will have the right that to revisit all exemption, deduction, etc., whichever claim. Then obviously this will be the only issue. So these are the changes which have been made on the block assessment concept. Now, friends, there are other issues which are coming in on this issue on the search cases. As I say, block period we have already defined, worked it out. Can you hear me? My voice is coming.
Yes, yes, your voice is coming, but there is audio, video. There is some problem.
My camera has.
Please carry on. Yeah, now it is okay.
All right. Now I think it's okay.
Yeah.
So now one way it is a very good provision. Frankly speaking, 60% tax and complete peace in the case of a search person. But at the same time, it's a too, I think, harsh a provision for a person other than the search person. Because at present, under the existing law, what notice can be issued, we have seen only for the assessment year where there is a material. And you can make an assessment only for that year. But now with this block assessment coming and applicable to person other than the search person, even a 5,000 rupees entry being found in the other books of account, कि आपको 5,000 की fees मिली है, or you have taken some transaction, and you have probably, if it is not recorded, then assessing officer will get a right to carry out a block assessment of 7 years, revisiting all your assessment of the 7 year, including the search year, etc. One interesting aspect will be that search year there will be 2 assessments. One, regular assessment, because assessing officer is supposed to exclude the income which is disclosed in the books of account from 1st April till the date of the search. In my example, in case the search has taken place on 10 September, so whatever is recorded in books of account or document and that income from 1st April to 10th September will be excluded by the assessing officer. You will be required to file the regular return in the next year, and that income will get included in the net return. But any undisclosed income falling in this 1st April to 10th September, that will be assessed and that will be chargeable to tax at the rate of 10 September. This gives you another clue, meaning thereby still there can be a dispute that assessing officer can assess income under this chapter after block assessment only of undisclosed income. He cannot assess a normal income. He cannot touch a normal income. Now the larger question will be whether the Kabul Chawla or Abhichar build well, where the income has to be restricted only to incriminating material, or whether the Singhad Education Society case or a UK paint, where in the case of a person other than the such person, it is only the undisclosed income which can be subject matter of block assessment. That will be subject matter of another round of litigation. As Naranjan ji earlier said it, that as and when amendments are made, it opens a Pandora box for the, I think, tax practitioner. One way or the other way, it will give another round of litigations on, and before the law settled down, the new law comes in. Now, as I see in the case of a person other than the such person, one thing is good. If any transaction is found which is unrecorded, he just pays 60% and get out of it. At the same time, the challenge is that his all assessment get reviewed and all assessment get redone, and then assessing officer make here or there a lot of inquiry or lot of addition, and then want to charge tax a higher rate. That may be a challenge. There are some gaps in the proposed amendments which I can see, which I believe are all technical, and department may have to face some problem. For the sake of brevity, I'm not touching up those issues that there may be, because when I see the definition of 158 BB, where computation has to be done, there is no explanation how to include and exclude an income in respect of an assessment year of which return has not become due. Take a case where a search takes place in June 25. Now assessment year 25-26, no return would not have been due by that date, and there is no provision that how this income will be included and how this income will be excluded. And as I understand, the normal provision will apply that income will be considered to be undisclosed income, despite being recorded. But at the same time, when even of the search period, part of the year that income is being excluded because it is recorded in the books of account, I don't see any reason why income of an assessment year for which the due date has not expired will not get excluded in the undisclosed income. There is no explanation in case a return has become due, but for one reason or the other reason, the return is belated. Say the last date of filing return is July or October, and search takes place in November or in August. Income is properly recorded in the books of account, but for one reason or the other reason, return could not be filed. Can it be said that entire income will become undisclosed income? There is no answer to that. Thirdly, there can be cases where income is below taxable and the person and gentleman is not required to file the return. Now, when computing block assessment, everything will get included and there is no exclusion of the income which is below threshold. Because somebody has an income, say 5 lakh rupees, and then after taking exemption, etc., or something like it is not chargeable tax. Or somebody has an income of only 2 lakh rupees, which is below than 3 lakh rupees, not chargeable to tax. Now, as the computation, this 2 lakh will get included and get taxed at 60%. There is no exclusion for that purpose also. So these are the some of the issues which one will have to examine. But there are something good also. Reduction of period is very good. A person who gets search, he can buy peace. Time period for block assessment has also been limited. It will be 1 year from the end of the month in which the search is concluded. That's such period. But in addition thereto, he will get a period of 180 days from the date of the search till the handing over of the documents. So this 180-day period gets counted from the initiation of the date of the search, whereas 12 months will be counted from the conclusion of the search. So meaning thereby the total period from the date when the search is initiated or when the assessment is to be completed at best can be 18 months. And there can be a challenge to the department because in many of the cases, the search get concluded on different date, even within the group, because locker of some one person, two person, or some warehouse of one company or other gets de-sealed later on. So their date of conclusion will get changed as compared to other family member or other group also. Now in center circle, you will find block assessment time limitation, what we call a limitation period will be every month assessing officer will be busy in completing one assessment or another group assessment. So that will be another challenge. This was also one of the reasons which is what they are. Initially in 1995, this was the same provision exactly what have been introduced here today in this budget also in the part. So these are the some of the provisions. And friends, now I will say 1 hour is about 6 o'clock. Jain sir and Gupta ji, leaving up to you that we can take few questions and that we can have some interactive discussion with the members. If that will be good, I believe. Some doubts or some issues which members have in their mind which have not touched upon, looking at the time constraint, we can discuss about it. Over to Jain sir, over to Gupta ji.
Yes, we should sir continue till 6:15. We notified that.
No, we can continue. We can have a discussion with the members on the part.
Oh yeah, that can be done. That can.
कैसा questions ले सकते हैं?
I think that will be better because there may be some questions of mind in the people.
Yeah. Sir, one is Ved Jain Saab.
Yes, please.
You had kindly shared the screen 158 BB.
Yes, please.
Subsection 2, that also includes for the purpose of computing undisclosed income, that also includes the word survey.
Yes.
Not reading the whole text, but survey actually cases will be dealt as per the normal reassessment provisions. So here they have added the word survey. So what is the implication of that?
I will tell you what is the implication.
Sir.
See, for a block assessment, search is mandatory requirement. Now, normally when a search is carried out, in some of the places, survey is carried out because of the administrative issues, staff not being available, etc. So any information which is collected in survey will also be available to the assessing officer, and he can use this information while doing block assessment. But in case there is only a survey, then that will not be covered in block assessment. For that purpose, it will be 148 only, because in 148 also survey has been considered there. Now, that's why I say there is a change in the existing provision which was introduced by the Finance Act 2021. As per the Finance Act 21, search and survey were clubbed together, and in that cases it was a reassessment under section 148 only. Now these have been bifurcated into two parts. Search has been shifted to block assessment. Survey has been retained in the case of a reassessment. Simply based on the survey, it has to be only the reassessment, and that too only particular assessment year to which the information is found during the survey. But now in block assessment, assessing officer has been empowered to use information which he digs out during search, information which he is available found during the survey, information which come to his knowledge or notice, because the definition which I have shared, you will see is too wide. Any other information which is available with him. So even in 7th August, the word used any other. That's why I have shown that slide particularly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well explained. Thank you, Ved Jain.
Yes.
Jain ji, I have one question. In case of abated assessment,
Tell your name.
my name is Sushil Pansuka. Jain ji may be knowing me. He used to appear before me in Chandigarh.
Welcome, Sushil Pansuka ji.
Jain ji, I have one question here. In case of abated assessment, normally, suppose there would not have been any search, that in that case, expenses is disallowed, then only normal tax would have applied, 30% tax or 25% tax, whatever. Only because search has happened, in case of abated assessment, suppose some expenses is disallowed, then whether that disallowance can be computed under the undisclosed income, that will subject to charge of 60% tax.
The law presently, unfortunately, is worded that in case of any a block assessment will be comprehensive, and whatever is added, even disallowances which are normally made, but we call legacy disallowances, because in abated assessment there can be legacy disallowances.
Yeah.
Every year some disallowance of expenditure is being made, something like this.
Yeah.
Even that will suffer 60% tax.
So is it not very harsh?
That's why I said it opens a Pandora box for we people like tax practitioner, because I'm still of the view it will be very difficult for the revenue to contend what should be the meaning of undisclosed income. If I take a literal meaning of undisclosed income is income which is not disclosed. Once it is disclosed, it can never be undisclosed. There are so many jurisprudence which is available under the old law also. So that way, I believe this. You are right, absolutely, that these type of issues will come up on that issue. Frankly speaking, I didn't touch upon that because I wanted to show you the screen. There is no mechanism as on date where the return has become not clear where to include and where to exclude. So, but now I believe idea objective of one is to simplification, that everything gets subsumed. So I am of the view that, frankly speaking, in order to redress these issues, which will, I think, now will be noticed by the TPL department of the CBDT. They may, by way of, I think, circular may be difficult, or maybe in the next budget when it comes up, so they may try to erase out some differences or some issues we are discussing it now. Or over a period, they will get sorted out by the courts when the litigation will happen.
Thank you.
Any other question, members? Any person has any? Anil Mathurji?
I say the participation. Srivastava, you have always a lot of questions. You are silent today. Normally, I can see that you had a lot of questions. I can see the presence is more than 145. The people are there on the issue.
let other people have an opportunity to ask you. हम लोग तो हमारे तो interaction और भी होता रहता है. So let others take an
पहले दूसरे लोगों को opportunity ज़्यादा दे देते ना.
जयराम जी के गुप्ता जी.
हाँ जी जयराम. Yes कौन?
सर मैं विमल गर्ग हूँ देहरादून से.
हाँ जी गर्ग साहब बताएं पूछें.
Sir, my question is the filing of return in case of block assessment is 3 months. Hello.
Carry on.
Yes, please.
Filing of return in block assessment is 3 months.
60 days.
60 days only. Then
148 is 3 months, and block return is 60 days only.
Which is very, very meager for filing such, supposingly a rate case. It's a very small period. And then the return is so complicated. What we have done in some cases is, since we could not upload the return on the portal, we got the photo printed out and then send it by post. In appeal, they appreciated it like anything. How do you say that, sir?
See, as regard your first issue, we must keep in mind that period given for completing the assessment is 12 months from the date of conclusion of the search. So if I see the timetable, how it will run, when the search gets concluded, at least 3 months are taken by the investigation department to make an appraisal report. Thereafter, it will come to the assessing officer, and assessee during this 3-month period is well aware what has been found, what has been seized, and what is the income. And I assume that even thereafter, assessing officer take 1 month to issue 158 BC notice. So 4 months has gone. 2 months time is given to you. 6 months is gone, and 6 months is for completing the assessment. So it's a reasonable period. One has to rush against the clock. Otherwise, the time period will get extended for the assessing officer. As regard uploading of the return, I believe when this block assessment concept was there, it was in 2003 when this portal was not so fast and so good. I believe with the latest digitization and the way the portal is working, by and large, the return should get uploaded quickly. There should not be any challenge. But you are right. In case there is a problem in the system, you can send it by post, and then in appeal you can contend, yes, it was filed in time. Or you have a power under section 119 to 2A to go to the board and to get the delay condoned also.
So nice. Thank you very much.
Technical problem.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Sehgal sir.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
Ani Gupta ji, namaskar. How are you, sir?
Very well, very well.
Sir,
पूछे.
the one point, there's one point.
जी.
As Mr. Jain said, that the tax on the total income relating to block period is 60%.
That's
And
right.
I think as per section 113, it is also subject to surcharge.
Sir, no surcharge has been prescribed. The finance minister
Sir,
presently said she
it is
will
not
be.
prescribed, but it is said that at the rate of specified in section 113 shall be charged to tax at the rate specified in section 113. And at present in section 113, it is subject to surcharge also. 60% plus surcharge. Plus, you see section 113.
Yes, I can show you the screen 113.
113 is in.
But there is no surcharge yet on this.
So section 113 says
It is written there,
the
but
total undisclosed income of block period determined under section 1 shall be charged to tax at the rate of 60%, provided that the tax chargeable under this section shall be increased by a surcharge, if any, levied by the central
but
government.
as of now, no surcharge has been prescribed.
I will tell you, Sehgal
As
sir.
of now, but it may be subject to surcharge.
Let me explain you.
It may be subject to surcharge.
Sehgal sir, please wait.
My opinion.
Jain sir, आपका reply कर रहे हैं. Please wait. Jain sir reply कर रहे हैं.
Just let me explain.
Here the reply.
See, issue is, I said it, that tax rate is 60%. Presently, no surcharge has been prescribed. 113 says it shall be chargeable to tax at the rate of 60%, provided that the tax chargeable under the section shall be increased by a surcharge, if any, levied by the Central Act. Now, Finance Act is a Central Act. In Section 2, various surcharges have been prescribed. Income is more than 50 lakh rupees of an individual, then 10% surcharge. Income is more than 1 crore rupees, then 15% surcharge. So these are the rates which has been prescribed under surcharge. But there is no surcharge as on date in the Finance Bill number 2022 for Section 113. So in the absence of that, the challenge will be that at present what she has said in the speech, yes, it will be subject to surcharge, but how much is there is still not there on that issue.
No, but it may be increased by the surcharge also, no?
But
Not
the
the black
problem will be
60%.
for that she has to amend the act. Surcharge will not be possible just by notification.
No, it
That's
will be right now. It will be at par with the section the taxable under 115 BPE. 60% plus.
Sehgal sir, अगर notify होगा तो सर सर साहब notify होगा तो surcharge लगेगा, नहीं तो अभी नहीं लगेगा.
115 BPE के at par ही होगा सर.
Next question.
In my view. It will be at par with 150, 115 BPE.
चलो सर साहब ओके. बदवा साहब आप कुछ करना चाह रहे थे?
Sir, I have a question.
नहीं. हाँ जी बदवा साहब please.
I have nothing. I am just listening. I am a listener. Carry on.
हाँ जी please.
I have a question. Hello.
हाँ जी बदवा साहब बताएं.
Sir, I have a question, sir. Yes.
हाँ जी.
Sir, my question is, who will issue a notice under 148A as per section 151A?
Oh yes, 151A. You see, at present the law is very clear. It has to be faceless assessing officer.
Yes,
it
sir.
cannot be by judicial assessing officer. And there have been judgment which has come from various High Court, including Punjab High Court, Bombay High Court, which have quashed notices issued by the judicial assessing officer, which we call JAO. So we normally in court say it is FAO, faceless assessing officer, not JAO. We can issue a notice, and that is the Delhi High Court is considering the same issue and likely to decide this issue in next month, I believe. These matters are being listed in Delhi High Court, but in other High Court, Bombay High Court has already given a verdict in favor. Telangana High Court has also given. Punjab Haryana High Court has given. Guwahati High Court has also given.
सब पंजाब ने भी दिया है.
But I must say that if this view is upheld, that it has to be by FAO, not by JAO, then all 148 proceedings across the country in last 3 years will get quashed, and Supreme Court will come to their mercy later on, invoking Article 142. We must be very
Sir, you are right. सर अभी पंजाब में हरियाणा हाई कोर्ट ने भी इसमें जजमेंट दिया सर.
I know, sir, but still we have to obey Supreme Court.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट अभी जजमेंट नहीं आया सर कोई.
नहीं अभी नहीं लगा. Supreme this matter has not.
अभी कोई मैटर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में नहीं है सर.
अभी नहीं पहुंचा सर.
अभी नहीं पहुंचा सर.
Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Gupta.
हाँ जी, please.
Yes, Mr. Jain. Can you not interpret?
Please introduce yourself.
CA Bansal.
जी.
Mr. Jain, can you not interpret that the definition of undisclosed income is a charging provision, while section 158 BB2, which talks of the computation, it will not extend, that computation will not be valid beyond the undisclosed income.
You are absolutely right. I said also now this is going to open a Pandora box, because the law which we believe has been well settled, what is disclosed can never be undisclosed. And undisclosed income definition having been given in section 158 BBBA clause B, the computation provision on 150 BB2 will not expand the scope what has been defined above. So that will be another subject matter of litigation, and there's a lot of litigation bound to happen. That's why I said the larger question which had been decided by the Supreme Court, where Kabul Chawla was upheld in the Abhisar build well, that an income has to be computed on the basis of incriminating material, meaning thereby what was not disclosed and was found during the search, that should be the basis, and that will be the undisclosed. What I have disclosed in my return, and as one of the questions which was asked earlier, that Sushil Jay has asked, probably your question is that when I have filed a regular return and there is bound to be some disallowances, some disputes on that issue, expenses, etc., which are in the normal course of the expenses, that will be a subject matter of litigation which is bound to happen. This is the new law which is being enacted again after, I say, 25 years. So this will have to pass the legal scrutiny again on that part. One thing I may add further, now even in the case of eligible assessee, that is non-resident and foreigners, etc., will not be available. So 144B provision will not be applicable. In such cases, all these matter will be, there will be no draft assessment order, it will be regular assessment order, and then CIT appeal will be the route for the appeal and nothing else.
Thank you, Mr.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I am Neeraj Jain from Meerut, sir. Sir, अगर सर्च मेरी जो है 10 सितंबर 2024 को होती है सर, तो सर मेरा जो ब्लॉक स्टार्ट होगा.
जैन साहब ऐसी उम्मीद क्यों कर रहे हो 10 सितंबर 2024 को होती है?
अब सर मेरा एक हाइपोथेटिकल क्वेश्चन है सर. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है,
प्लीज गो अहेड.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर मेरी सर्च सर 10 सितंबर 24 को होती है सर, तो मैंने अपने रिटर्न तो 24-25 का फाइल कर दिया. उसके बाद सर जो मेरा ब्लॉक पीरियड होगा वो सर 10 सितंबर से पहले होगा ना सर. और जो मेरा जो रेगुलर पीरियड है ये 1 अप्रैल 2024 से 31 मार्च 2025 तक, इसका मुझे रेगुलर रिटर्न फाइल करना पड़ेगा सर.
हाँ बिल्कुल ठीक है. मैं आई विल जस्ट टेल यू. This time the block concept has been made. Firstly, let us have the block period. It runs 6 assessment year preceding the search year, and the search year is 1st April till the conclusion of the search. In your case, I assume search has been initiated on 10 September but concluded on 30th September. So your block period will be up to 30th September. So whatever you have recorded in your books of account between 1st April to 30th September, you will have to disclose in your block return, and assessing officer will exclude the same, accepting your whatever you have disclosed while computing the undisclosed income. And since this income is not getting taxed now, right now, so this period, 1st September to 30th September, you will regularly, when you will file the return, get taxed that time because this is your regular return, your regular income. But in this period, 1st April to 30th September, if there is any undisclosed income which is found during the search, that will be taxed in the block return.
After in regular assessment, sir. From first October to
regular income, after excluding the regular income.
Regular income. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? Anil Mathur sahab hai?
I think there is no other question.
अच्छा जी.
सर हूँ तो मैं बिल्कुल, लेकिन सब जैन साहब जो बोलते हैं तो इसके बाद सब चीज बहुत जल्दी समझ में आ जाती
है. I tried to look into the time because I was trying to precise on the issue which were maybe of interest to us. Though in nitty-gritties, when we read, there are so many issues which may come up. But the challenge is always that in the webinar, how you are able to convey what are the in substance the amendment which has been made on that.
जैसा अनिल माथुर जी हमारे वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हैं और इन्हीं के सेशन पे रीअसेसमेंट का reassessment की जरूरत है.
Anil ji is a very dear friend from Jaipur, all time friend, sir. I know him very well.
Gupta sahab, can I raise a query?
Please, Pramod Patni ji. Pramod Patni ji भी जयपुर से हैं जी.
Yes, I know that. हाँ जी, Pramod ji.
Sir, my query is with respect to a third-party search and some computer data. Again, the reliability and the evidentiary value of that computer data is uncertain, which is maintained by not per se by an accountant, which is also not certified, but based on that computer recording at the end of the search party, my name happens to be there with respect to certain transactions. Now, do I have to go through the same rigmarole despite my challenging the basis of that particular proceedings, because that computer data in my perception is not reliable.
So that's an unfortunate part. In case 158 BD satisfaction is recorded, just for the sake of your answering that question, if I can just read out what 158 BD says, and I can show you, demonstrate you. This is the 158 BD. You just look at this, what 158 BD says.
It just refers to other documents.
No, sir, it's too wide. Where the assessing officer is certified, this is true. Now, because time certain, I say, just look at the right side, what I say. Where the assessing officer is satisfied, any undisclosed income belongs to, this is the word belongs to, pertains to, or relates to any person other than the person with respect to whom search was made, or whose books of account or other document of a requisition the section, then any money, bullion, jeweler, or other valuable article, thing, asset, expenditure, books of account, document, info contained therein, seized or requisition shall be handed over to the assessing officer having jurisdiction over so and so person. So meaning thereby, all he has to be satisfied that there is an undisclosed income which either belong to you, pertains to you, or relates to you. And now what is undisclosed income? Now for that purpose, you can just go to this definition of undisclosed income.
Sir, was something similar to what happened in that Jain diary Kand or somewhere there.
That's why I said that will be a subject matter of now another round of litigation, and it will be a Pandora box for, I think, all lawyers, all advocates, chartered accountant, and of course court also. They will be busy. I believe we are all witness what happened in 2021 post this TOLA, what we call Taxation and Other Amendment Law Act.
Right.
How many writ petitions came in various high court and how courts were flooded with the writ petition.
Ashish Agarwal.
But now well, here will be that this issue of undisclosed income will be again subject matter. What should be there? And to answer your question specifically, whether this data is reliable or not reliable, it's a matter of civil law of evidence, which will be applicable. And if one can demonstrate it is not reliable because by leading evidence, of course, it has to be ignored. But that will be, of course, one has to pass through the test of appellate forum.
Okay, sir. I appreciate. Thank you.
एक सवाल मैं पूछ ही लेता हूँ आपसे related to this undisclosed income. Here 158 BD we are talking about undisclosed income, and this emanates from the person searched. Does it necessarily mean that this will also be undisclosed income in the hands of the other person? Other person might have disclosed that as your income. So
अगर आपने किसी से 10,000 रुपए लिए और आपने डिस्क्लोज किए हुए आपकी बुक्स में, फिर तो वो अनडिस्क्लोज हुए नहीं.
So but then 158 BD, when it talks about undisclosed income, when it says undisclosed income, the other person, the assessing officer of the other person, of the search person, he has to presume that this is undisclosed income of the other person.
बहुत सिंपल लॉजिक है. आपने एक प्रॉपर्टी खरीदी जिसका 1 करोड़ रुपए का चेक दिया है, 50 लाख रुपए कैश दिए, और जिसने बेची उसके यहाँ ये लिखा मिल गया कि 1 करोड़ रुपए का चेक और 50 लाख रुपए कैश आपसे आए हैं. अगर आपने वो सेल 1 करोड़ की दिखाई हुई है, परचेज दिखाई हुई है, तो नेचुरली 50 लाख रुपए अनअकाउंटेड होगा, अनडिस्क्लोज हो गए. और लेकिन अगर आपने परचेज 1.5 करोड़ की दिखा रखी है और उसमें 50 लाख रुपए कैश के भी दिखाए हुए हैं, तो फिर आपके डिस्क्लोज हो गए.
No, but how does the AO, the search person, presume gets to this conclusion? वो कैसे करेगा कि मेरी undisclosed income है? It has to be undisclosed income of the other person also. See, there could be a transaction.
Your question is that how the AO, assessing officer of the search person, will come to know whether it is disclosed or not undisclosed. This is the question. This is the question.
Exactly.
So now on the basis, this is the same question in 153C, because then he will forward the material that I have got this material with me to the AO of the search person, other person, and then AO of the search person will record certain things, then he will issue a 158 BC notice. Exactly the same thing is happening today also.
नहीं, जैसे वो bogus purchase, bogus sale में है कि हमने वो कहते किसी ने मेरे I am the search person, I am not disclosed as my sale.
Post search,
the person
statements are recorded, documents are collected. Now, in case there is a material, that on that basis he will say that I have got this material, which suggests that this is an undisclosed income, and he will pass on that information to your AO. Then assessing officer, based on verifying your return, then he will record a satisfaction.
Then you will have to verify that again. So satisfaction has to be recorded at both levels, as the present.
Though it has not been stated in so many words, I believe, but that will be again a question whether both satisfactions are required, single required. What happens? Assessing officer is the same one and the same person, because normally in such cases the case gets centralized to the other person also.
I think we had a lovely session. Now, may I request R.D. Kakra Sahab to extend the thanks? R.D. Kakra is our General Secretary. Kakra Sahab?
Well, undoubtedly, it's a very unique.
आपका
नमस्कार.
आपका फोटो ठीक नहीं आ रहा है जरा.
वो लद्दाख में है, लद्दाख में.
अच्छा, लद्दाख में है.
ले में घूम रहे हैं.
गए हुए हैं. अच्छा, कनेक्टिविटी ठीक नहीं है क्या?
तो मेरी आवाज आ रही है? आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ,
आवाज आ रही है?
बोलिए काकड़ा जी बोलिए.
मेरे ख्याल से आवाज वहां से कनेक्टिविटी ठीक नहीं है. कनेक्टिविटी ठीक नहीं है.
To Ved Jain and all, sir, it's my proud privilege. Thanks to all the participants.
गुप्ता साहब,
कनेक्टिविटी ठीक नहीं है.
ठीक है.
जैन साहब, इट वाज ए वेरी लवली सेशन.
काकड़ा जी सबको धन्यवाद दे रहे हैं.
हाँ.
I want to make 2 announcements about tomorrow's webinar. Tomorrow's webinar is also at 5 o'clock. That is on the amended provisions of Benami property transaction, black money, and he will also touch money laundering provisions. Our advocate Aditya Asgaonkar from Bombay, he will speak. That is tomorrow at 5 p.m. And then day after tomorrow, that is on Sunday, we have got a program on GST, and that GST program will start at 10:30. एक मिनट ठहरिए गुप्ता काकड़ा जी, एक मिनट. This program on GST will be on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. So kindly join. Our speakers will be CA Anchal Kapoor, CA Anjan Sarkar, our Mukul Gupta ji, Chairman of the GST and IDT Committee, and expert comment by Sri Pankaj Ghia. And now again Kakra ji is on the floor. Kakra ji, please.
अनम्यूट कर लीजिए काकड़ा जी. काकड़ा जी अनम्यूट कीजिए, अनम्यूट.
नहीं हो सर. देखो इनकम जेडी गई हुई है, ट्यूशन जी गई है, और भी दिखाओगे तुम.
जैसा कनेक्टिविटी ठीक नहीं आ रही मेरे ख्याल से वहां पर जो है ना.
ले में मिलता नहीं है लाइन.
ले में नहीं मिलता है.
ठीक है. एक श्रीवास्तव
श्रीवास्तव जी में प्लीज एक्सटेंड थैंक्स.
श्रीवास्तव साहब, please propose vote of thanks.
Sir, all of us would agree that when I made a request to Jain Saab to deliver a talk, he simply asked me what date, what time you want. And as usual, we said we have the program in the evening from 5 o'clock to 5 to 7 or 5 to 6:30. He readily accepted my request to deliver a talk on the new reassessment and the search matter. Well, one thing I'd like to point out, which has not been said about Mr. Jain. Mr. Jain is also a member of the Federation, and he has been a part of the ITAT Bar Coordination Committee, committee in the Federation. And whenever we request him, in fact, we had a program, and when we had NTC at Gurgaon, at that time also I had talked to him initially that, okay, we want to hold a program and we want you. So he readily accepted my proposal, which was subsequently followed by the zone people. Now, coming to the subject, I think the changes made have been explained by him. We need to go back to the textbook, to the book and the act again to look at those provisions with the background that we have got from him. It will give us a clarity on the issue, and I think Jain Saab has probably explained each and everything to the minutest possible details. Thank you, Jain Saab, for sparing your time, and I'm sure we'll keep bothering you time and again on to enlighten us on the various provisions of law as well as the litigation in the High Court, because probably you are one of the people who has the latest information on 148 and 150 and search and seizure matters and how these are going in Delhi High Court and Supreme Court. So we always stand enlightened by your presence and by your talk. Thank you again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jain Saab, from both sides.
Thank you, Jain Saab.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
अरे काकड़ा जी, आवाज आ रही है आपकी?
आवाज आ रही है?
अभी आ रही है.
दिख रही है भाई. आज का सेशन जिस तौर से 2 बार वोट ऑफ थैंक्स देना जरूरी हो गया है. Undoubtedly, it's my proud privilege to offer a vote of thanks to Jain Saab and all the participants. Sir, today's session was very unique one, practical one, and in a very simple manner, just like the reassessment process and the block assessment process, which was deliberated today, is a very simplified manner. Sir, you have said about the Pandora's box, undoubtedly I agree with. बिकॉज कोई आदमी कहता है कि मैं बहुत सरल हूँ, तो इसका मतलब ये डर लगने लगता है कि ये जलेबी किस तरह है। तो पेंडोरा बॉक्स कहाँ जाके क्या होगा, वो आगे की बातें हैं। लेकिन आज का सेशन इतनी सुंदर रहा, और उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर,
थैंक यू जैन साहब, थैंक्स अ लॉट।
जैन साहब, थैंक यू।
Yeah, this is all.
We are happy that Kakraj has spoken from Leh, Ladakh. We are really glad.
जैन साहब, एक लेह लद्दाख में हमारी कॉन्फ्रेंस चल रही है आजकल जो है, तो इसके लिए
कल कॉन्फ्रेंस हो गई, बहुत सुंदर कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई कल। और लेह लद्दाख बहुत ऐतिहासिक कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई, और ये आ रहा थी जो भी यहाँ है, बहुत लोग एंजॉय कर रहे हैं। मैं भी जैन साहब के सेशन के लिए टूर आज आधा करके आया हूँ।
ओके, ठीक है, थैंक यू। चलो, द मीटिंग इज एंड, कम टू एंड।
Thank you.
Right, thank you जैन साहब, थैंक यू, ओके, बाय।
Thank you, sir. Thank you.